On Friday afternoon, Saya's father, Miss Nassery, picked us up after school. He had a friendly smile and gentle eyes, but he was as quiet as his daughter. Saya lived in a tall building, so Miss Nassery carried my cage up 3 flights of stairs to their clean and quiet apartment. Miss Nassery opened the door for us. She spoke to her husband and daughter, but I didn't exactly understand what they were saying. "Hummy, Hummy," a little voice called out. Saya's little brother, Derek, toddled toward the door to greet me. "Say Humphrey," Saya gently corrected him. "Hummy," he said. The Nares put my cage in the living room, right in the middle of a big table. Then they pulled up chairs so they could all sit and stare into my cage. It seemed as if they were waiting for something to happen, so I decided to give them a show. First, I spun on my wheel for a while. Then I climbed up on the side of the cage and dived down into a pile of soft paper. Then, were absolutely impressed with my performance. As they talked quietly, the funny thing is I couldn't understand a word they were saying. No wonder Saya got 100% on all her vocabulary tests. She and her family knew a lot more words than I did. They finally went to the kitchen to eat dinner later while the rest of the family watched television. Saya's mother quietly sat by my cage watching me. She seemed nice. Eventually, it was bedtime for the nurses, but after the lights were out, Saya slipped out of her room and came back to my cage and whispered to me. I could understand her again. "Now you know my secret, Humphrey," she whispered. "My family doesn't speak English. Well, my dad does a little, but she's shy about it. Mom hasn't learned any English at all, and Derek's so little. I understand," I squeaked. "That's why I don't like to talk in class." That she explained, "I don't talk like the other kids. I'm afraid they'll laugh at my ancient and happened to me. That happened to me when I was little. But you don't sound different." I frankly speak, I understand you just fine. Unfortunately, she didn't understand me. All she heard was squeak, squeak, squeak. I guess maybe I have an ancient too. But I have an idea that maybe you could help me teach Mom English. Saya continued, glad to help out if I can, squeaked to her. "You're a real friend," Saya replied. See, she understood me after all. The next day I dozed until late afternoon when Saya led her mother back to my cage. "Humphrey only understands English, Mama," Saya said. "Speak English, say Humphrey." Saya's mom looked a little frightened, but she tried Humphrey, and she said Hummy. Derek cried as he raced into the room and climbed onto his mother's lap. "Say hello, Humphrey," Saya gently interrupted her mother. "Hello, Humphrey," Miss Nares said. I squeaked hello right back, and she broke into a huge smile. "Hello," she said. "Good job," I said. Well, things were swimmingly from then on. In a matter of hours, Saya's mom was saying, "How do you do? Nice to meet you. Would you like some water?" I did, thank you. Even when Saya and Derek left to go to the store, when their father, Miss Narish, kept on talking, I let her know I understood what she was saying by wiggling my whiskers and hanging out one paw from the top of my cage. "Good boy, Humphrey," she said. Saya and her father were amazed at Miss Nourish's progress. When they returned, the family spent the rest of the evening practicing English. First, Saya pretended to be a guest at the door. She went into the hall and knocked. Her mother opened the door. "Hello, Saya," she said. "Won't you come in?" Then Derek went out and knocked. Miss Nourish opened the door and said, "Oh, hello, Derek. Won't you come in?" He rushed in and toddled right over to the table, shouting, "Humphrey, Humphrey!" Next, Saya convinced her dad to practice English with her mom. "What time it is?" asked Miss Nourish. "What time is it?" Saya corrected her. Miss Nourish got it right the second time. Then Dad looked at his watch, 7:15, and answered. "Would you like some tea?" Miss Nourish asked. "Yes, please, I should like some tea," Miss Nourish answered. Guess what? They had a tea party right on my table, as a reward for all their hard work. I spun my wheel as fast as my legs would go, and they all cheered. Later afternoon, the lights were out. Saya slipped out of her room and talked to me again. "Thank you, Humphrey," she whispered. "My mom says she's ready to go to English class now, but I wish you were the teacher, so do I." I squeaked, and I meant it.